Greetings from yesterday. At the moment, Charlie and I are hosting some friends, so I've come out to the van to film this piece to camera. I'm not entirely sure why. I think I just thought it'd be a bit quiet. A nice change of scene from the last few videos. Also, I get quite animated when I'm filming these bits, and I don't want my guests to think, what the bloody hell is going on in there? Why is John shouting? I guess I'm shyer than I thought. But we're in the van, so we might as well talk about it. As many of you will know, Charlie and I got this van last year. It was our dream van. We had had dreams for a long time of travelling around and living in a camper van whilst we travelled around, and last summer we got the opportunity to do that. We took this van, known as Freddie, short for Winifred, not anything else, to Europe for a European road trip adventure, and it was amazing. And I documented that experience over on John's Journeys, one of the many YouTube channels I hold. I really ought to condense those down, I think. The road trip was everything I wanted it to be. We got to travel to 6 or 7 different countries. We didn't have to pay for accommodation except for the occasional campsite when we needed a bit of power or a bit of internet to upload the videos, and we got to stay in some absolutely stunning locations I still can't really fathom that I slept in. It was everything we wanted it to be, but the reality soon hit on us that living in a van is hard. Don't get me wrong, this is a pretty big van. We've got heating, we've got gas, we've got a bed and a table and all sorts. It's incredible, it's decked out, it's tricked out, but actually it's still quite a small space to live in for over 2 months. It's the small things that get you, like, wouldn't it be nice if when I went for a crap I wasn't doing it in my kitchen? Or wonder where you're going to have a shower? Or is the place that you research where you're going to stay actually going to have other vans there, or are you going to have it all to yourself? Are you even going to be able to find somewhere to stay each night? All these things you have to think about all the time. The fridge is only tiny, so we had to go to the shops quite a lot. So were we going to be able to find a shop? And were they going to be really overpriced if it was just a tiny shop in the middle of nowhere? And if we do find them, will they have what we want? But these are the trade-offs you make, because what you lack in certainty, you make up for in adventure. I actually talked a little bit about this on the John's Journey channel, but one of the things I discovered whilst I was travelling in the van was the van life paradox. All those little comforts Charlie and I gave up were compounded by us having to make a decision every day about where we were going to go, what we were going to do, where we were going to stay, what are we going to cook, just decision after decision after decision. This led to choice fatigue for us. It became harder for us to make decisions. What we found after a few weeks of staying in a van is we were craving a little bit more stability. We wanted to stay somewhere for a while. That gave us a bit more certainty. Things like not having to worry about where you were going to go to the loo and not really think about where you were going to stay each night. We wanted to stay out of the van. And this is when I first observed what I am dubbing the van life paradox, because when you have that certainty, when you know where you're staying, where you know where you're crapping, you start to think to yourself, yeah, but I want to get back into the van. I want to go back onto the open road. I want to start exploring and going on an adventure again. That's the whole reason we're out here, isn't it? And then you get in the van, go on the road, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, but it'd be nice to be stable in a place for a bit, wouldn't it? And then you stay in a place and you think to yourself, but yeah, I want to get back out in the van. And that is how it would continue on and on and on. The van life paradox. Everyone is aware of the phrase, the grass is greener on the other side, and this is a classic example of it. Isn't it amazing to go and travel and live in a van and wake up with mountain views? Isn't it amazing to have plumbed in toilets? I know I'm going back to the loo thing, but that's a big deal. Eventually, Charlie and I came to the realization that you've just got to make the most of any given circumstances, because whenever you think the grass is greener on the other side, once you get to the other side, you just want to hop back over the fence. And consequently, the end of the trip was brilliant, because when we had this mentality, we were enjoying everything we were doing towards the end of the trip so much more. I think there was a lesson for us to learn in that we could take into our day to day, and now we're back home. It's winter here in the UK, and the van is just sat here on the drive not being used. We want to go on another adventure. We really want to go on another adventure, but there is a problem, which is that we can't just up and leave for an adventure at any given notice. Charlie's job will not allow it, and I'll be honest with you, the trip last year on John's Journey didn't really earn enough for me to justify it either. Unfortunately, we can't just up sticks and go whenever we want, which is exactly what we thought the van would offer us. So now we're faced with a conundrum. Do we keep the van so that whenever the opportunity to go on an adventure comes up, we're ready to grab it, knowing full well that those opportunities won't come round that often? Or do we cash out and sell the van so that it doesn't just sit on the drive not being used for most of the year? And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the answer to this. The head and the heart want two different things here, because this was a massive investment for me and Charlie. We put a lot of money into this. We had to borrow some money to get this. We need to pay that money back. Maybe it's time to say goodbye to the van if it's not being used. But then again, we wanted the van for so long. We wanted this so we could just go on an adventure whenever we wanted. This is everything we'd ever hoped for. So why would we sell it? The reality is no matter what the outcome is, we're going to think that the grass is greener on the other side. I know if we sell this, we're going to wish we still had it. And if we keep it here, we're going to be looking at it thinking, but it's just sitting there not being used. We should really sell it. Unfortunately, I still don't really know what the outcome for this van is going to be, but I'm trying to tell myself that no matter what the outcome, we've just got to make the most of it. Because the grass is never really greener on the other side. Our enjoyment in life comes from us and us making the most of any given situation. So no matter what happens to Freddie here, I know we'll be okay. But yeah, consider this a warning, guys. I'm not sure how much van content there's going to be coming up this year. Hopefully some, but I'm not entirely sure. And I think that's all I've got for today. I'm going to go inside now and pretend I was just tinkering around in the van. So I'll see you tomorrow, probably from here again. And until then, don't be a dick.